Our application process has now moved to an online portal called Gate Front Office. This tutorial will show you step-by-step on how to complete an application for the Community Facility Enhancement Program Small Stream. By this point, you may already be familiar with or have completed the following. If you haven't, or if you need help, please watch our previous mini tutorial videos for guidance. First, start by visiting the Gate Front Office webpage. This web address can be found in the email containing your login credentials. To begin your application, click on Funding Opportunities from the left side menu of the home page. Please note that all ministry grants will be listed, and you will have to scroll down until you see the program that you wish to apply for. In this example, we will click on Community Grants Community Facility Enhancement Program Small. This grant tile will indicate the registration period, also known as the intake period. Please check the website for current intake dates. Once you click on the funding tile, you will see this page that contains important information to review prior to clicking on Apply Now. I do want to point out that there is a link that takes you to the program's webpage where you can download and review the program guidelines. Once you click on Apply Now, it will take you to the next steps. This is the page where you will select a profile. Because a registrant can be associated with multiple organizations, in this step you will need to indicate which organization is applying. Click on the profile you want to use for this application, then hit Save and Next. This is where you will name your project in the Applicant Project Name box. Once you click on Save and Next, you will be directed to the Applicant Profile page. Please note that there are two ways that you can update and review your applicant profile, either directly from the Applicants button on the main menu, or you will be prompted to review your profile before submitting any new applications. These next few slides will show you how to review your profile before you start a new application. So far, you have selected your account profile and the project that you are applying for funding for. Now, you will be prompted to review and/or update your applicant profile. Your applicant profile contains information about your organization, such as your organization's legal name, nonprofit and charity registration type, address, and contact information. This information must be entered before starting any new applications. The information here will carry through to your application. Please review each category in your applicant profile. If any edits are needed, start by clicking Submission Summary. Once you have selected Submission Summary, you will be brought to this screen. To make changes, click Edit in the top right corner to open your profile for further editing. The page will then reload and you will see a red Complete button. Only click this button once you've finished all of your profile edits. After completing each profile section, be sure to click on Save and Next to ensure the information you've entered is saved and carried through to the rest of the application. Keep in mind, based on how you answer questions in the applicant profile, the system may add extra pages for you to complete. These pages will appear in the menu on the left side. For example, if you select that you are a charity registered with both corporate registries and the CRA, a new tab called CRA Registered Charity will be added to the left menu. Here are a few additional tips for completing your applicant profile. Use your organization's legal entity name, which can be found on your registration documents. When entering phone numbers, simply type the digits without spaces or dashes. Be sure to also include an email address for each contact person. And once again, Always remember to click Save and Next to save your progress. After going through all the profile sections, you will end up back at the Submission Summary page. If for some reason you have missed an item, you will see an X beside the pages that need further attention. You will not be able to submit your profile updates until those sections have been completed. Once the correction has been made, click on the Submission Summary page once again. Once you see all the green check marks, click on the Complete Profile button. Please keep in mind that you have not submitted your application, but you have successfully completed the first step in the process. Now, let's review how to complete and submit your CFEP Small application. Once you have successfully completed your applicant profile, you will be directed to your blank application. The tabs in the left-hand menu will have all the pages that you need to complete. As you fill out your application, please keep the following in mind. Save your progress. And any questions with an asterisk next to it means that it is a mandatory field. You will not be able to submit your application if it is left incomplete. Front Office is a dynamic system and responds to each user based on how you answer questions. As you complete each page, there may be additional fields that appear depending on how certain questions are answered. These additional questions help collect necessary information needed to assess the application appropriately. I also want to direct your attention to the loading bar at the top of the page. As you answer questions and move through the application pages, give the system a moment to load as it navigates to the next category. At any point during the application process, you can always click Save and Exit. Do not submit your application until all the pages are complete. Now that we have these tips in mind, let's get started on the program overview page. This page is a general overview of the program that you are applying for. Please carefully read the information on this page and check the box identifying that you have read and understood the information. Next, click Save and Next to move on to the next page. Next, you will be directed to the Organization Information page, where we will ask you to answer the following questions. What is the purpose and mandate of your organization? And what services do you provide to the community? Please complete your responses within the 250-character word limit. Next, you will be asked to confirm your organization's location, mailing address, and main organization contact information, including the legal signing authority. Please note that this information will be pulled from your applicant profile, so if the information looks incorrect, please note that the updates made on this page will not be reflected in your applicant profile. Please update your applicant profile if this is required. Click Save and Next to move to the next page. Next, you will be directed to the Project Information page, where you will be asked questions related to your facility project overview and details. Several of these questions are drop-down selections for you to choose from. Please note that CFEP Small has 5 project types that you must choose from: Upgrade, Expand, Purchase, Construct, and Equipment. The definitions for each of these types is included in more detail on this page. Please note that your project type selection will prompt the system to generate additional questions not featured here that are more related to the specifics of that project type. Continuing on the project information page, you will answer additional questions related to the intended outcomes of your project that you want to achieve. Please note that if you are receiving funding, you must be able to report on the results and outcomes identified here. Once completed, click Save and Next to continue to the next page. Next, you will be directed to the Project Budget Information page, where you will need to enter all anticipated expenses for your project. Please ensure that you are using recent estimates from your suppliers so the total cost is as accurate as possible. After entering in the expense items and the company that provided the quote, along with the total cost including GST, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Save. This will reload the page to calculate the total A value, which will be referenced to later on this page. Next, enter in the details surrounding any project donations. This includes donated labor, equipment, or materials or services. If you select Yes for any of these questions, the page will reload with additional questions asking for more details. Project donations will factor towards your organization's matching fund requirements needed for this program. For example, if you selected yes, that this project will include donated labor, you will then see a new section load requesting more details. The value and definition for donated labor in the form of unskilled and skilled workers will be on this page for your reference. A skilled laborer, such as a qualified ticketed electrician, is valued at $40 an hour, while an unskilled worker, such as a general laborer, is defined at $20 an hour. If you are using donated labor towards your matching source requirements, you're required to track all volunteer time using a sign-in sheet. Similar to the total A column, once you have entered all of your costs, press Save, and the page will reload with the calculated total for total B. Repeat these steps for total C and D as needed. After filling out the project donation section and clicking Save, your page will reload with your total project cost. If this looks inaccurate, please carefully review your previous entries. The total project cost is calculated by all the entries made for expenses, donated labor, donated equipment or operation, or donated materials and services. You can also leave a comment if you have any additional notes regarding your project cost. The last section of this page you will need to complete is your project's revenues. Please note that the maximum eligible CFEP small funding request is $125,000 on a matching basis. Applicants must contribute an amount equal to or exceeding the CFEP small grant request towards the expenses of the project. As we have mentioned, the matching funding may be in the form of cash or donated labor, equipment, operation, or materials and services, all of which must be specifically related to the project. Other Government of Alberta funding may not be used as a matching resource for the CFEP small grant. Maximum funding from all sources of the Government of Alberta cannot exceed 50% of the total project cost. Please refer to the program's guidelines if you need more information on how we define provincial support. This table includes 3 columns. The first is amount pending, which is defined as funding requests that have been submitted but approval has not yet been confirmed. In this example, you will see this application's CFEP small request for $24,650, as well as a pending municipal grant for $5,000. The second column is amount confirmed, which is defined as funds that are in the organization's possession, such as in bank statements or financial statements, or perhaps a grant or donor confirmation letter has been received. In this example, we have included the organization's contribution of $14,850 and the donated labor total calculated in Total B previously of $4,800. The last column will calculate your project revenue total. This total must equal your total project cost stated earlier. If a miscalculation is made, the system will notify you of the specific error. Next, you will have an opportunity to answer additional questions should you have more details regarding other funding sources contributing to your project, and a contingency plan should you have a funding shortfall. As stated in the CFEP Small Guidelines, you will be required to provide proof for the expenses and revenues stated in this section. Please attach these documents, such as quotes, estimates, bank statements, and proof of donations, into the File Attachment section, which we will review later. Click Save and Next to move to the next page. Next, you will be directed to the Facility Information page. Here you will be asked to enter the address of the facility or outdoor space that the project will take place. This must be the physical location for the project and not a mailing address such as a P.O. box. Next, identify if you are the owner, operator, or leasing the facility or outdoor space for your project. If your project funds will go towards the purchase of equipment, identify if your organization will own it, maintain it, or not. Depending on your selection, you may be asked additional questions or proof of these statements, which you can include in the File Attachment section. Once completed, click Save and Next to move to the next page. Next, you will be directed to the Project Readiness section. This page is intended to capture the details surrounding your project management, project pre-planning, benefits, economic impact, community need, urgency, and potential large-scale impacts or other considerations that are important for our team to know. First, you will identify if you have an internal project manager in place. If so, select Yes and fill out the additional information requested in question 1A. If this project will instead have a third party managing the project, please identify if you have an agreement in place and who this third party will be. The intent of this question is to let us know if grant funding will be transferred to a third party to carry out your project. Please note that a contractor is not a third party. Applicants that are engaging a third party to carry out the project on their behalf must submit an executed third-party agreement which outlines the nature of the commitment of each party to the project. The recipient of the grant funds will still remain accountable for reporting on the funds as defined in our guidelines, section 6.7. Next, let's move on to project pre-planning. The project pre-planning section will ask for the following. What has been completed to date? For example, this group has completed a community survey, feasibility study, and an economic impact assessment. The date range that this work was completed, if appropriate permits or permissions are in place for the project so far, and if no, why not? And last, if there's an offer to purchase the land or facility as required in your project. You can also select Not Applicable if needed. Scrolling down to Project Benefits, check a minimum of one option that best describes the impact your project will have on your community and organization, including how it will enhance the quality of life and community wellness. Scrolling down to Economic Impact, you will be asked to answer questions related to how many jobs are created as a result of this project, whether permanent or temporary, and if there's a value add to the community. Examples of a value add could include increased revenues to local businesses, supplies bought locally, or increased tourism opportunities for the community. Depending on your answers, new questions may appear asking for further information. In the Community Needs section, you will be asked how your project addresses a community need, and if any community involvement, partnerships, or collaborations are in place to support your project. Last on this page, you will be asked about the general urgency or large-scale impact your project may have, such as if there's an extraordinary need for the project, if the impact will extend to regional or provincial communities, and if the project is the result of a disaster-related event. In other considerations, we will need to know if your organization has received prior Government of Alberta funding for this project, and should you not receive full funding, would your project be able to continue with a reduced amount? At the end of the project readiness page, you will be reminded to attach more mandatory documents, if applicable, into the file attachment section related to these series of questions, such as your third-party agreement and letter of supports from a title holder authorizing the project. Click Save and Next to move to the next page. Moving on to the grant agreement page, you will be prompted to download a copy of the agreement form that you can sign. This form link can be found at the top of the category menu, as seen here. Click the link and it will download a copy on your computer. Please ensure that the following are completed by an authorized representative of your organization. 1. Enter the incorporated legal name of the organization where indicated, near the top of the first page. 2. Carefully read the grant agreement. 3. Acknowledge the agreement with and/or completion of all statements at the top of the second page by checking the associated boxes. 4. Complete and sign the authorization section at the bottom of the second page. 5. And finally, upload the completed grant agreement to the File Attachments section. Here's what the downloaded grant agreement form looks like. It is a fillable Word document, but will require the signature of your authorized representative prior to uploading it into your file attachments. Moving on to the electronic payment page, we will need you to complete a copy of our application for electronic payment form, along with providing an acceptable banking document. Please note that each grant application requires this form. Click the red highlighted link to download a copy, and once completed, add it into your file attachments. Here's what the downloaded application for electronic form looks like. We have also included a helpful tutorial video that you can watch should you need further assistance in filling out this form. Let's move on to the File Attachments page. This page is where you will attach the required documents to complete your application. You will see a table like this one on the slide, listing all the documents that could be uploaded. The required column will indicate whether a document is mandatory, which is listed beside the name of the document. However, keep in mind that some of the forms with a no beside the name may still be required, as this will depend on your project. This is again where the CFEP small guidelines can be helpful. Please be mindful that front office will accept many document formats, including Word and Excel, plus PDFs. But please do not send a picture of the completed forms, as front office does not accept JPEG files. To begin uploading the attachments, simply click on the name of the corresponding document. For example, to upload the signed grant agreement, click the name and you will be redirected to this page. Type in the name of the document you are uploading in the document description box. Then click on Choose File and you will be able to navigate to wherever you have saved the forms on your computer. Then double-click on the document to select the file for upload. Once the file has been uploaded, click on the Save and Back to List button and you'll be redirected back to the File Attachments list. Then continue down the list until all required forms to complete your application have been uploaded. Please note that you must put something in the document description box, as it will not let you go back or save without it. After uploading all the required documents, you have the option of deleting and replacing documents as needed by clicking on the X. Once all your files have been attached, click Next to move on to the last page. The final step of your application is the submission summary page. This page summarizes all the previous pages you have completed and represents your application for funding. To be able to submit your application, you will need to see check marks in the complete column for all the mandatory pages. You will also see this indicated in the application menu identified with green check marks. If any of these pages have an X in the complete column or on the main menu, that indicates that something was missed on the page that needs to be addressed before you can submit. Now, before you submit, you can save a copy of your complete application to keep for your records. Just click on Export to PDF, located in the upper right corner, and a PDF version of your application will be available for download. When you have check marks by all mandatory documents and you're ready to submit, click on Submit in the top right corner. After submitting your application, return to the My Work homepage, and under Recent Submissions, you will see that your application status has changed to Complete in green. Please keep in mind that there is a 6-month review period from the application intake date. For example, if you submitted your CFEP Small application for the January 15th intake, you would receive notification on the outcome in July. During the review period, you may be asked for further clarification on your application. This concludes the tutorial on how to complete your application for CFEP Small in Front Office. If you have any questions, you can call Community Grants at 1-800-642-3855, or you can email communitygrants@gov.ab.ca.